So have it right, up the Chelsea, up the Minerals FC. Big up to every single one of you live and locked in. I hope you're all doing well, winning life. First and foremost, I want you all to smash to pieces that like button. If you haven't smashed it, smash it right now. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, make sure you do so. We got the notification bell, ding dong, let's have it right. So you know when we go live. And we got the Minerals FC Ultras membership down below in the description. Salute to all the Minerals FC Ultras. Salute to our Chelsea old boys. We see things they'll never see. And salute to the no surrender mentality. And salute to our Don Roman, who we withhold these standards at our elite football club. And today's 13 years since we won our first Champions League trophy, our first star in 2012 in Munich. Salute to Didier King Minerals Drogba. Let's have it right. Let's have it right. What are we witnessing now? What are we witnessing now? I will never lower my standards, never, for this Blueco Fugazi project. These frauds of owners, that have destroyed and gutted our football club. So, the irony of me speaking on this day is one of the players that basically had a worldie of a performance in that final spoke out last night, and I'm going to give my thoughts on that and react to it. John Obi Mikel. Now, let's go back a little bit. John Obi Mikel has got his podcast, let's have it right. He started off by obviously letting us all know he's a fan, like all of us. He's meant to represent the Chelsea supporters. He's got his podcast where he talks about everything football-wise, has guests and all that, but also he speaks predominantly about Chelsea, what we're doing here. And he's basically one of the faces for the supporters. He's one of the voices for the supporters on his podcast and on major platforms. And when we go back, he was calling out Nicholas Jackson for not being a striker that is the level of Chelsea Football Club, and he ain't wrong. Since then, Jackson wanted to act all high and mighty and tell him to shut up and stop talking shit. For then John Obi Mikel to then not even land it on him and continue to call him out because pressure makes diamonds. But then says, "Oh, look what I've done! I've created a monster." For this guy to go on a I think 13-game goalless drought, bottle it. Now he's been sent off, obviously, and he's not going to feature for the remainder of the season. And this is our third year into the Blueco we want to win project, where we've spent the amount of money we've spent and we ain't got a world-class striker. John Obi Mikel also trying to broker the deal with Osimhen and Chelsea. And I mean, I'm going to speak it as it is and I always do. And John Obi Mikel knows the truth. Yeah, you can say we've done all the foreplay and he says that Osimhen wants to come to Chelsea. Yeah, he did. In fact, he was prepared to come to Chelsea playing in the Conference League. All right, the embarrassment that it is, we're in the Conference League, dressed up, ready in a full kit, a full Chelsea kit, for Egbali to say we're not paying over 150 grand a week. Or can everybody just stop getting shot? Because there's no intent, there's no mentality, there's no real ambition. It's a project to make money. It's a profit-making project. So he's then in the box with Egbali Feliciano, who says it's more important to build business value than win or lose on the field. Winstanley, Kerry Winstanley, the yes man, Stuart Little, the two mid-directors that have destroyed our football club and only executing the orders given to them and the briefs of the model laid out by Egbali and Clear Lake Capital, while Meatloaf Bowley is ticket touting, using our football club, being a chairman, earning 20 million a year. But that's another discussion. You know, people don't really speak these narratives. To say that they know what they're doing, they love the club, they know so much about football. The same Egbali that came out and said that our club wasn't very well managed on a financial level, on a sporting side and a data side, trying to mug off our Don Roman, blame all their spending on Don Roman, and it's Don Roman that we're in PSR issues when he left our club debt free of I think it was 1.52 billion or 1.7 billion debt free. I think he left us, Don Roman. Yeah, salute to our GOAT owner. To then come out, John Obi Mikel, to say this.
The pressure always should be at the owners, because they need to know that, yes, they've come in, they've bought this football club. They've bought it in the sole purpose of what? Winning, being successful, not making profits, mate. No, not making profit. No. It's about winning. It's about winning trophies. Chelsea Football, if you buy Chelsea Football Club and thinking you are here to make profit, no, mate, you can fuck off. You can fuck off, because this club is about winning trophies.
Facts. But the only reason John Obi Mikel came out of all of that was because I was calling him out for being an outright brown envelope for this ownership. Because since he was in that box, he was talking dribble. He was talking toxic positivity towards the ownership. But then on that podcast, he said that associates of Roman Abramovich have spoken to him and said that he's unhappy with Chelsea Football Club, the state it's in. He's unhappy that his baby's been robbed of him. So clearly, John Obi Mikel does know what this ownership are about. Because if you're speaking like that, you know it. Now, respect to him for doing that. Respect to him. But I have to ask the question, John Obi Mikel, why are you blocking my comments on your podcast? Why have you disabled me from commenting? And Eunice Talks Football can vouch for me, because I said to him, Eunice, can you see my comments? I've written 3 comments. Can you see him? No, can't see him. Can't see him. Replied to comments. Why? Because I called you out, and rightly so, because you're meant to be the voice for us supporters. And you've been brown-nosing this ownership for far too long. And now it's come on to the point where he's gone on being sports. And we're going to play the clip right now. Absolutely, we're going to play the clip. So smash that like button and let's see what John Obi Mikel has to say. Yeah? Let's see what he's got to say.
It's about winning trophies. It's about winning trophies. Yes, he got there, but he didn't get them over the line. It's the same thing. He always comes second. It's always next season about Arsenal. Mm-hmm. Now we're talking again about next season. Now he wants to spend again in the summer. He's
actually spent 700
million to 800 million he spent.
No, is that a lot over 6 years?
That's a lot of money over 6
years.
You
spent $1 billion in one
See,
season.
she's just landing the minerals on John Obi Mikel there, and he's laughing now. He has to laugh. He has to laugh at that because he knows full well it's true. In fact, I'll correct it. Lego had spent 850 million. It works out around 170 million a season. He's been there for 5 phases. The only trophy he's won was with the team that he completely gutted out, that is no longer in any existence at Arsenal Football Club. And he hasn't won any major honours since. He's been backed by the owners who, let's have it right, have no standards. And it is because of Arsenal we have trust the process. Yeah? Arsenal is trust the process FC. And now Chelsea have turned into that. And the ownership of Chelsea have been benchmarking us. Look at Arteta. Make sure that you give a manager patience. We need to trust the process. We're here to compete in the next 5 to 10 years and all this dribble. All right. The reality is we have spent double of what Arsenal have spent. All right. Or what Lego had spent. Double in 3 years. That's 6 transfer windows. And John Obi Mikel's the one that's calling out, we need a striker, we need a goalkeeper, we need a midfielder, we need quality. We basically need a spine. In fact, I'll take it one step further. We need an entire rebuild at Chelsea Football Club. But because the model dictates how we go in the market, wage structure, the age profile, you cannot build that elite spine. You cannot build that winning team, all right? Because the project doesn't allow you to do that. Yeah, we've had 3 managers that they've hired, and we're currently in our 3rd manager, Enzo Maresca, who John Obi Mikel is a great manager. What's made him great? What's he done that's so great? Apart from try and copy Pep, everyone's trying to copy Pep, all right? But you can't be Pep Pep is elite. Pep is a generational manager. You know, everyone thinks that, I'm going to copy Picasso, but doesn't mean you're going to paint like Picasso. You'll never paint like Picasso, bro. What we doing here? Yeah.
I break it down. That's 34 players, 28 purchases, the rest on loan,
Yes.
over 6 seasons.
And we've made 90 purchases. 90 purchases.
Yes.
It's actually not that much when you break it down like
I
that.
know that when you talk about us spending 1 billion, yes, we're in a transition period. We have managers come in, managers go.
Right. We ain't just spent 1 billion. We've spent 1.6 billion, close to 1.7 billion. First strike. Second strike is a transitional period. We're in phase 3, and this is the problem we got. See, if John Obi Mikel was prepared to say the truth, no manager at Chelsea is being backed. No manager. They're not his players. He's inherited these players. None of these players are Enzo Maresca, Pochettino, or Jellyfish Potter's players. The model at Chelsea is the gaffer. The directors and the ownership, Egbali and Feliciano and Clearlake Capital predominantly, they're the ones that call all the shots. They're the ones that are recruiting, using AI scouting and data and all this nonsense, who have actually gutted out Neil Bath, Jim Fraser. We've lost another local scout for Chelsea who's been there for 20 years. He's gone. He's been gutted out. We sell all our common players for pure profit. So at the end of the day, we're not in no transitional period. Was John Obi Mikel talking like this with Roman Abramovich about transitional periods? Like, what are we doing here? When was the transitional period with Don Roman? So why are we in acceptance of these standards at Chelsea? Why is everyone just accepting failure? We haven't won any trophies. We're just trying to get in the Champions League. It's come to one game at the end of the season, whether we can qualify for Champions League or we could end up playing Conference again. Like, we've spent the most money, recruited the most players out of any club in Europe, and we're not even competing. And Arsenal, at the end of the day, I don't care what they do. Like, why are we looking at Arsenal to try and compare Chelsea? Because the ownership want to build a narrative that, look what you need time to build. No, you need progression, and progression is winning. Progression is actually, like, you've had 3 years under this ownership, and what have we got to show for it?
They're bringing in their players. Here's the guy who's been there for that 6-7 years. These are his players. This is his team.
And these managers we got at Chelsea, they're players. They're micromanaged. They're yes men. Like, what are we doing here? I don't understand how you can say we're in a transitional period when we're in 3 years into this project. There is no standards. There's no spine. The owners are not building with a manager or backing a manager. The gaffer's the model, the Brighton model, the Red Bull with no wings model at Chelsea, where it's maximised profits. You know, if we were serious in the market, we would have on deadline day signed Victor Osimhen no matter what and paid him 250 grand a week, which is cheap. That's cheap. That's a bargain for the calibre striker that we're talking about. Erling Haaland's on 500 grand a week. So why are we lowering our standards? Because of the wage structure, because of the model at Chelsea, because of the intent of the owners. And the Arsenal owners don't have any intent. They're just happy to get top 4 every year. They've brought in a manager that hasn't won anything of elite level. He's just won an FA Cup. He was a cigar holder like we've got at Chelsea for Pep Guardiola. That does not qualify you to manage big clubs. And with our club, we're an elite club and we're the biggest club in London. And yet we've got a championship manager. We've got a bunch of unproven players. You cannot win titles. You cannot compete at the highest level if you do not have a world-class spine and world-class players. And if you are not going in the market to recruit that, and you do that with the wages, then you're not ever going to get those results. You're not going to win. And that is a fact. It's proven. The model at Chelsea is unproven in the history of football. Like, it's never been proven in the history of football. Yeah, at least with Arsenal, they have got a blend. They have got a blend, which is why they're competing at a better level than Chelsea are. Yet they're still not winning. This is the problem we have. So Mikel's got to call it out. He's got to stop being a brown envelope. Facts. He has to stop being a brown envelope. And this ownership, listen, I want to ask the question here because everyone goes, oh, don't come at John Obi Mikel. He's won the Champions League. Yeah. And granted, like he's a legend at the football club, right? But I'm going to call it out. I have to call it out. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Yeah. To laugh off that we spent 1 billion when we spent 1.6 billion. It's unacceptable to laugh to say that we're in a transitional period. Like, we're not in a transitional period. We're in phase 3, irrespective of the manager. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? So when you say, "Oh, go easy on John Obi Mikel because he's won the Champions League for Chelsea and he's won titles," yeah, all right. Where's the same energy for players that have delivered the Champions League? Let's bring up Havertz. Let's bring up Mount, for example. Yeah, who everyone feeds agenda on. Oh, they play for a rival club. All right. If Roman was here, would he have gutted out his elite Champions League winning team? Would he have sold Mason Mount and Kai Havertz? Kai Havertz he fought tooth and nail for, and Mason Mount he brought through the academy that he built. Do you think that? Or do you think it's the ownership that sold them out for a pound note because of the wage structure and because they wanted pure profit? So what are we backing here? Yeah, I love every Champions League, every player that's won me the Champions League. I respect and love. Facts. I'm not coming to them. They've brought heritage to our football club. They've made us the biggest club in London. But what I'm asking from John Obi Mikel is to call it out for what it is and to not stop with it. Because the more and more you do what you're doing, our club is going to be further and further in the mud. The standards are so low at the moment where everyone in phase 3 is accepting us trying to get Champions League football after spending 1.6 billion quid, after recruiting players every single transfer window and not addressing the issues of bringing a world-class spine. Where's our world-class goalkeeper, central defender? Where's our world-class... Bruv, we've got, because of the squad building, we've got Tyreek George playing centre forward now, all right? We've got Uncle Tozin, the most experienced centre-back. You exiled Trev Chalobah to bring him back, who's our best defender. You bench Reece James, who's our captain in games. Like, what are we doing here? Without Cole Palmer and Casado, we'd be further in mid-table. These are the facts, and this is the reality. And I have to stress it because John Obi Mikel is taking the Mikel. You got to be real about it. You have to call it out. Yeah. No one is in acceptance of this. People that actually hold the standards of Roman Abramovich at this football club will not accept what is happening at Chelsea Football Club now. The ones that are promoting and trying to force feed that we're going to be challenging in the future, and this is a great project, and look at the superstars and wonderful young talents we're buying. Yeah, they're all brown envelopes. They're all sellouts. They're all paid out to push that narrative, because the ones that speak the truth are the ones that get sabotaged and get fed agenda on, because they go against the grain, against the club narrative. The truth of the matter is, this ownership are the ones that make all the decisions and have absolutely buried our football club. And I will always call them out, win, lose or draw, Blueco out. I'm never going to stop. And no one should stop. No one should stop. Yeah? No one. So when I bring up about, Havertz has gone to Man United, Arsenal, Mason Mount signed for Man United. Well, William went to Arsenal. William went to Fulham. Cech went to Arsenal. You know, these are irrelevant discussions. What you've got to ask yourself is, why did these players get sold? Why? Because there was agenda, because it was all about monetary financial decisions. Every decision made at our football club is not based upon footballing decisions with the intent to win. It's the intent to make profit. It's all on a financial basis. And that's why Chelsea Football Club is where it is, right? These players are overhyped. They're not worthy to play. They wouldn't even get into any Chelsea teams in the past. Yeah. We got an owner that doesn't even know who Ruud Gullit is. Blanks Eden Hazard walking down the tunnel. Yeah. Oh, but they know who John Obi Mikel is, but they don't know who Ruud Gullit is. Like, what are we doing here? Why is that? Someone explain that to me. Well, we all know why. Yeah. Because John Obi Mikel's got a platform to push the narrative. We'll get that narrative in the bin and let's talk the truth. Because if we don't put the pressure on, they're not going to go out in the market and change their wage structure. In fact, they can't change their wage structure. Why? Why can't they do it? Because they've taken 1.2 billion of debt on double-digit interest rates, which is why they chose the Brighton model. But no one speaks that narrative. Yeah, that's why Chelsea go in the market the way we do, and they use all these brown envelope, blue tick, and YouTube platforms to promote it, to glorify mediocrity. And that's why Chelsea are not competing at the highest level. That's why we're not winning the elite trophies. And that's why we're a laughing stock. And when you look at Arsenal, well, they're the elite banter FC. So what are we accepting here? No one should be in acceptance of this nonsense. And I'm very calm with this. I could easily get rattled with it. I'm not going to get rattled. Yeah. We just land the damn minerals and we say it for what it is, you know. And when Don Roman's book comes out, let's see what the Don's going to say. Let's see what he's going to say. Let's see how many people are going to run and hide. Yeah. Because there's people that will try and disrespect and have disrespected Roman Abramovich, saying we weren't sustainable under Roman, yet we won 21 trophies. We won 2 Champions League, we won the Club World Cup, Super Cup, Europa Leagues. Yeah. John Obi Mikel says, I don't even watch the Conference League. I can't bear it. It's an embarrassment we're in it. We got the owners on the pitch all the time. Yeah. Trying to, hug a player that scores the winning goal because it might mean they might get Champions League football because they're starving of it for financial reasons, not because we're going to try and win the Champions League, not because we've built a squad to win the Champions League. Yeah. Like, what are we doing here? It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. In fact, it's a disgrace. As in the great words of Didier Drogba, it's a fucking disgrace. And as Didier Drogba says, I do not recognise my club anymore. Yeah? Because this is not Chelsea. It's not Chelsea. So you need to call it out. And pressure makes diamonds. If you don't do that, then what are we all doing? We're just here on the magic roundabout, praying and hoping that we might get lucky and win some sort of silverware. Like, this is Chelsea Football Club. And the reason we're in this position is because of who's pulling all the strings. Yeah. The puppet masters. Yeah. Upstairs, the clowns. Clown Lake. Yeah. Blue Co. Yeah. Get them out of the football club. Yeah. They don't love our football club. They don't understand Chelsea Football Club. They are trying to sabotage our heritage. They're living off the success of Roman Abramovich. And what? To rebrand us. To rebrand us as what? An Arsenal? A trust the process? Get out of here, bruv. You're a long way from Starbucks. This is a fugazi. This whole project's a fugazi, and I'm not accepting it, and I'm not standing for it. Win, lose, or draw, it don't matter to me. I want them out. Yeah. So this is what we got to do: is uphold the standards as our Don Roman set them, and call it out. Speak the truth. Stop speaking the brown envelope matrix narratives. Facts. Big up to everyone in here. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll be back later on. Let's have it right. As always, no surrender mentality. Win, lose, or draw. Blue Co out.